Hey folks, I'm Pete. We're doing Pete's Eats Cooking videos. Today we're going to make a fabulous dish of deep fried green beans. These are an amazing side or as an appetizer. And really, when you think about deep fried, you might think, whoa, I don't want to do that. But you'll see that these beans have really not much more fat than a boiled bean with a tab of butter on it. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's going to be delicious. Let's begin. So here's what you're going to need. You're going to need the beans, of course. You're going to need some oil. I like using sunflower oil. I think it's the best choice, but you can use corn oil or vegetable oil, whatever you want. I would definitely not use olive oil. And you're going to need a little bit of cornstarch. And that's it for the beans. And we're also going to make a really tasty dip. This dip is going to take this right over the top. For the dip, you're going to need some mayo, you're going to need some spices, which I'll show you, a bit of garlic, a bit of sugar, and a bit of Parmesan cheese. And it's going to be fabulous. What we're going to do is we're going to trim up these beans. We're going to cut off the string end and the stem end and put them in the pot there. We don't want to wash them. We just want to cut off the stem end and the string end and throw it in. It's a dry process. It's really quite clean. It's not messy at all. And once we're all done, we'll be ready for frying. Just going to run these under the water to rinse them. Just get them nicely washed up and we're ready to go. I'm ready to pour the oil in the pot, but before I do that, I want to make sure I have a nice big lid and a really, really nice big safe pair of gloves near me, just in case. You want safety first. It shouldn't be a problem. We're not going to put too much oil in the pot, but always have these available in case you need to use them. I'm putting about an inch of oil into the pot so that we can fry up the beans. So now I'm going to turn on the heat, and I'm going to turn on the heat to a sort of a medium high, not a high, and we're going to let that oil heat up. And we'll test it by throwing one of the beans in. The next step is to put some cornstarch on the beans, and that'll help them to be just a touch crispy. Okay, I'm gonna put the beans in the bowl. You can see they're still a little bit wet, which is good. And I'm gonna take about, a tablespoon for this amount of cornstarch. You don't want too much cornstarch. And because they're still a little bit wet, that cornstarch will just dissolve and create the slightest bit of coating on the beans, and that's going to help them in the frying process. Now you'll notice I don't have a deep breading on these beans. It's not like a deep fried, a bean that's going to soak up lots of oil. This is not going to soak up a lot of oil at all. And as I said earlier on, it's probably no more oil than if you put a big wad of butter on the beans after you boil them in water. But they're so tasty once they come out of the oil. So I'm going to test the oil to see if it's ready. I'll take one bean and put it into the oil. Yeah, no, not quite. It's not quite as hot. I want it to bubble up a little better than that when I put it in. So another couple minutes. I'll put a nice bunch of beans in there. I think we're ready to go. My one bean is fried up. Some people call these bean fries. They're healthier than French fries. I don't want to overcrowd, so there's a good number of them. And they'll probably take about a good 5 minutes to boil up. And they'll float on top when they're ready. I'm going to turn the heat down just a bit. It's a little bit too active for me. And we'll let them fry right up. These are done, so I'm going to take them out. Of course, you can fry them for longer if you want. And these took about 3 minutes. You can see they really do not have a deep breading on them. So I'm going to let the fat just drain out of here a bit, the oil. And they look fabulous. Okay, so to make the dip, we're going to start with about a cup of mayonnaise, which I've already put into the bowl, and I want to crush a clove of garlic into that. I'll just show you how I do that. I'm going to cut the end off the clove of garlic. That's the stem end. I'm just going to give it a bit of a smash, not too much, and that should just come out of the skin nicely then. So now I'm going to crush the clove of garlic into the mayonnaise. I'll just get that off there. And I'll put in the remaining ingredients. A dash of white vinegar. You can of course use probably about a tablespoon. You can use of course any kind of vinegar that you would like. I like this herbamare. I think it's really nice. It's like a salt. It's very, very nice and healthy. You can use any salt you want. I'll put about maybe a quarter teaspoon of that in. Definitely some pepper. I'm going to put about a quarter teaspoon of pepper in as well. And sugar, so about a teaspoon of sugar. Adjust all of these, actually maybe that was a half teaspoon. Oh, I don't know, another half, maybe about a full teaspoon of sugar. And the Parmesan cheese. The Parmesan cheese really gives it a final touch and makes it very sort of professional tasting. It's going to be absolutely fabulous, trust me on this. Now I'm just going to mix it all up. I often put in a big heaping tablespoon of sour cream or some hot sauce as well. And I'm going to taste this just to make sure it's right and has the right balance. You could give it a little bit of cayenne pepper as well if you want, just a touch. But these are the basic ingredients that will make it really turn out lovely for dipping the beans in. So here you go, here are your deep fried green beans, or some people say bean fries. They make a fabulous side dish, or if you're having a party, they're a great appetizer with a really, really tasty dip. I guarantee you every single one of these will go. But be careful, because they're highly addictive. Enjoy.